Thank you for watching the Housing Oregon YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Slide decks from the presenters are going to be available below. Thanks for watching.
Good? Yeah? All right. So we have something exciting here for you also. I'm going to introduce myself, and my colleague is going to introduce the day for us. My name is Sepide Razania. I go by she, her pronouns. I am with Unruh Solutions, and I'm one of the co-facilitators of a DEI coalition that has been established for Oregon Multifamily Energy Program that is being administered by OHCS, or Oregon Housing Community Services. And amongst us here today, we have many of our DEI coalition members actually as well. We are talking today about the journey of establishing a DEI coalition and how the coalition has worked so far and how it's informed the program. And we would like to leave you with a framework on how we did that. So with that, I'd like to get our DEI coalition members to all please stand up and wave your hands so everyone knows. Great, thank you. I'm going to pass the mic to Rachel.
Hi, everyone. That's not the mic. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Dorton. I use she, her pronouns. I have the absolute honor of being the other half of the co-facilitation team for this DEI coalition. I work for an organization called In Color. We are a strategic consulting agency dedicated to operationalizing equity and program design. And yeah, we are going to turn it over to our coalition members to kick us off and really introduce yourselves. But if you do want to talk more to Sepide or myself about our experience in this role, please find us after. We'd love to chat with you.
Thank you, Rachel. Good afternoon, everybody who realize we are the biggest hindrance between this time and dinner. Bear with us. My name is Ellen Bolus Edmonds, and I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a proud member of the DEI OR-MEP DEI Coalition team since it was established in 2022. See, even me. Okay, and at the time of my recruitment, actually, I was the executive director of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce. So I was recruited basically to give my perspective from a community-based organization, SAT. And this has continued on with my present charge as the Small Business Stabilization Program Manager for the City of Portland. And I believe that this is a very good integration of the CBO's hat and then some for actually the grant implementation process, as Julia and the rest of the program teams at TRC are actually asking for assistance on what would be better for the grantees, how it would be easier for the applicants. Thank you so very much for showing interest in this breakout session, and you are probably here because you have a DEI coalition yourself, or you're thinking of putting one up. The purpose of our workshop today is to introduce the concept of a DEI coalition, and it's kind of like by the people, with the people, for the people. So it's really the DEI coalition is really composed of people from diverse backgrounds. I will not talk a lot about that at this point because you will hear about that as you go around during the break, or as the facilitators go around for the breakout sessions. And one of my jobs today is to let you in on what to expect. Do not worry, we will only spend a few minutes holding the microphone because most of our 90 minutes will be spent on workshops. Okay, we would like to hear from you. And the way that we will share with you what we have done in our MEP DEI coalition is through these workshops, you asking questions and learning from you as well. We will end today's activity by actually inviting some of you to share out during the last 10 minutes of our session. We're passing out business cards with a QR code, and the URL, actually, it's on your tables. You can see that there are QR codes there for the DEI framework, and you will probably use this later during goal number 2, because there are questions there that would refer to the DEI framework. Okay, just like any high performance team, we are not saying that you will no longer go through the forming, storming, norming phase. You will still go through that. But the hope of the DEI Coalition team is to actually make your layover on those stages shorter so that you can focus all your energy on the performing stage. Okay, so I would like to now share the floor with our Paula to give you more about the DEI Coalition.
Thank you, Ellen. Hi, everybody. I'm Paula Brown. I'm delighted to be here representing OR-MEP after being selected as a DEI Coalition member a year ago for 3 reasons. I'm a lifelong ally and advocate for people of color and any disenfranchised groups because fairness is my premier core value. From the playground to the boardroom, church pews to bar stools, on public transit or corporate jets, I stand for justice. I'm a PSU Viking with a finance economics degree, a career as an internal business consultant for BPA, XL Energy, and serving on the board of directors for Lane Electric, gave me expertise in energy efficiency funding flows and administration. And I represent rural Oregon's geographic diversity. Though I've spent most of my time living in cities known as downtown Paula Brown in New Orleans, Portland, and Denver, I graduated from Oak Ridge High School, a small town in the Cascade foothills, and returned in 2019 to semi-retire. And then I became Mountain Paula Brown. After 5 long years there through the pandemic, earlier this year, I came out of semi-retirement to direct Baker City's finance department, and that's in Oregon. Now I'm both. I'm downtown Paula Brown and Mountain Brown because I live in a high-rise apartment in Baker City that overlooks the Elkhorns to the west and the Eagle Mountains to the east. So I'm very honored to be there. Let's see. So having roots in both city and country afforded me a deep understanding of the cultural divide between, say, the Greater Idaho movement and the I-5 corridor. But what I bring to the day-to-day operations, the meetings of the DEI Coalition, is roots in diversity of thought. So I like to challenge the discussion in all milieus I find myself in. I like to keep the group on track, always making sure we're taking that litmus test. Does this match our mission? Does it align with our mission and goals? And just go deeper into the conversations we have. And one of the most important phrases to me in our mission is the concept of deconstructing systemic racism as it occurs in our institutions. And I know this group does a really good job of that because we don't just do that with the OR-MEP program, but any program or institution that comes across our radar in our work, we're wondering if there's built-in systemic racism there. So I have my laptop here because I'm going on some great slides. I'm tasked with telling you just a little bit more about OR-MEP. So Oregon Multifamily Energy Program grants cash incentives and design support for energy efficiency upgrades in affordable multifamily retrofits and new construction. So that plays out in systems such as HVAC, water, the building envelope, and lighting and appliances. It's funded through a public purpose charge on the bills of Pacific Power and Portland General Electric ratepayers, I guess you might call them. Then the different roles we have here is Oregon Housing and Community Services. I always get those 2 middle ones confused. Oregon Housing and Community Services administers the program, championing it at the state level and leading us all, the program team and the DEI Coalition. Organization called TRC is the program team. They are functional subject matter experts that implement the program. So for instance, they're tasked with open enrollment for the housing projects so that these projects submit their applications to be awarded what's called reserved funding, establishing scoring criteria for those awards, providing technical support to applicants as they go through the process, and continually measuring, monitoring, and evaluating results. Our third-party facilitators manage engagement between coalition and program team, and we, the members on the coalition, consult OHS and the program team according to our mission, which we will get into later. So, as a business consultant certified in governance, risk, and process operations, I will attest that OR-MEP's DEI Coalition framework, which you have a QR code to access, it's 68 pages, it has fostered successes in pursuit of its mission for these reasons. It's thoughtfully crafted, it's thorough in its approach, it's guided by clarity of principle, and the team of program managers and consultants are continually curious whether the program elements are meeting intended outcomes. So they're focused on metrics, monitoring, such things as new information and conditions, changes in cultures and environments, and they're willing to adapt awareness and perspective based on this exploration. So with that little overview, I'll hand it over to Rachel to tell you about the workshop process.
All right, y'all. So we are going to do something called we're going to do a variation. Nope, not over there. Sorry. We're going to do a variation of something called a World Cafe today, which is a facilitation style where typically you all are up and moving around between different stations. We're just going to swap that, and our facilitators are going to move to you so that you don't all have to hop around. So we're going to have 4 sessions today at each station, or 4 different 10-minute blocks today. At each one of those, we're going to talk to you for about 2 to 3 minutes about a portion of the coalition framework, and then we will open it up to discussion for you. We are hoping that this is really high touch, really participatory, and we want you to be thinking about how these things might apply to the work that you're currently doing, things that you might do in the future, and questions or recommendations that you have for us. So we're going to break into these 4 tables, which you all have done a great job of doing, and our coalition members are going to come to you to kick off the conversation. At the end of the session, we'll give you about 10 minutes to sit with your table, talk through what you learned, and then we'll have a big group share out at the end. All right.
I forgot to do the whole section on our successes. Do I have time to just share 3 of those?
Yeah, I'm going to give it back to Paula. She's going to tell you a couple things we've accomplished as a coalition real quickly, and then we will jump in.
I couldn't help but have to revisit this. To me, it was the most important thing to present today. So some of the successes that have been fostered as the coalition followed the framework in executing its role. In Station 4, I will map these successes to specific elements of the framework that guide our operations, which is basically our operations or how we conduct meetings. So we took a deep dive into the definitions of rural and culturally responsive as a coalition. Those are embedded in the open enrollment scoring criteria that led to projects in rural areas to earn points to be awarded, which is again given a reservation of money. So the rural definition became distance from available resources because they are concentrated in metro areas. And then culturally responsive was a characteristic of program applicants that they self-identified as, and we needed some boundaries around that. So we looked closely at the definition of culturally specific organizations, AKA CSOs, to get to that criteria that led to more rural projects winning reservations. In recognition of the lack of services in rural Oregon and that OR-MEP's funding rules require projects be in PPE and PGE service territory, led to OCHS Program Manager Tim Clark to participate in a multi-energy effort, resulting in 11 million additional money for OR-MEP to award projects outside of those service territories. Woo-hoo. The DEI Coalition is very excited about that. The policy subcommittee, led by Dragonfly Consulting Shelley Bolu, won the Building Upgrade Prize from the U.S. Department of Energy. This was done by partnering with Unite Oregon to develop innovative concepts that proved exceptional in meeting the DOE's criteria for energy efficient, clean energy ready homes, commercial spaces, and communities. So that's 3 of many. Thank you, Rachel.
All right, with that, we're going to shuffle our coalition members around and we'll get started in just a moment. Is there any table that doesn't have sticky notes, markers, anything like that while we're getting arranged? All right, perfect. All right, everyone. We are at the end of our workshopping time. So you can stay where you're at. But I made a horrible mistake when we started this, and we have 3 wonderful coalition members who facilitated breakout tables and did not get a chance to introduce themselves. And so they're going to do that now as a sweet little treat. There you go.
Oh, I did. I didn't. Okay. I think I did introduce myself on every table, but I'll do it again. Esteban, I go by he, him pronouns. And yes, I've been a member of a coalition since the inception a couple of years ago.
Hi everyone, my name is Brenda Brown and I'm part of the coalition for I think about a year. The reason why I joined is because I felt like OR-MEP I already knew that some groups benefit more than others, and they wanted to hear from different voices. So I like that, and I wanted to be part of it and make sure that also my community, my culture is represented in those discussions and decisions. So yeah.
Oh, well, I think I introduced myself also at the tables, but hi, my name is Muhammad Najjar. I use he, him pronouns, and I have been with the coalition for the past couple of years as well. It has helped me a lot relating to some of like my day-to-day job and making sure that the communities that we serve are actually centered in this work. And some of the conversations has been a little bit difficult sometimes, but the outcomes that you saw some presentation of it, like the 3 success stories that Paula shared earlier, uh, have been like really inspiring. And I'm really looking forward to doing more with this DEI coalition because there's a lot more to do for the community. Thank you. Okay, well, so the next one is also me. Just, just making sure that as we have talked about the framework of the coalition, and hopefully you all got something out of these conversations because what we are going to do next is just having you talk amongst yourself about things that really resonated with you, something that stood out for you, questions that you have. How can you like learn from this experience that we have or inform us also as well? And just giving you a little bit of time, I think 10 minutes we are going to have for these conversations before we are ready to kind of wrap up with some share outs from the group. So the next 10 minutes, just talking within the groups and making sure that we are discussing things that we really identified during these conversations. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're gonna have you combine tables. Our facilitators will step out so that you can, I think, maybe all fit around one table. But we'll have these 2 groups get together and these 2 groups get together, get cozy, but talk through what you learned, and we will do a share out in just a minute.
It's almost 5 o'clock. And everyone continues talking. I'm sure it's very engaging conversations, but I just want to make sure that you all get out on time. Yeah. So as you debriefed for the last 10 minutes, I'd love to pass the microphone to each table to just kind of for a minute or two, one person, if you don't mind, or maybe more, a couple of people, just reflect on what you heard. Like, what was it that your biggest takeaway was at the table? So I'll start with this table here. I'll pass it to you.
What? Why? I guess we talked about a couple things. The scale of the organization. That's nothing is a what was the phrase that I just used? One size fits all solution. What works for one organization won't work for the next. Making sure we have a context for our conversations. One person may speak the entire DEIB language, and another person has never heard of those 4 letters before. So just a couple of things along those lines, and then just kind of working in a collaborative manner so that we're all kind of going towards some common goals.
Anything else that anyone else wants to add? No? The spokesperson did it. Yeah, that's a really good reflection. It's not a one size fits all. Like, we need to think about what the organization needs. Yeah, this table, and then who wants to speak? You'll do it? Okay.
Sometimes it's like herding cats and it might take a long time, but you know, with a lot of consensus, you can have better products.
That's a really, really good perspective. Anything else? Anyone else wants to add here?
Last chance with my phone.
Did we have discussions at that table? Would you like to share something? I know there was a very small group, so I don't want to.
So I was talking to Magdalena here. So I think what she mentioned to me was like, I'm a little confused. Like, well, what is this exactly? So we talk a little bit more about the OR-MEP program and the incentives that they give to multifamily housing, so they can, I don't know, have a better or energy efficiency appliances and other things, and how this can benefit the resident, like maybe spending less in utility bills and all that. So I think she needed a little more details on the OR-MEP program before answering all those questions. So that's what we discussed a little bit here.
I'll take that as a good feedback for a workshop like this, that it was, kind of reflecting, was hard to spend too much time about talking about the program versus like giving you time for workshops. So, but that's a really good feedback. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. So I think there was really good perspectives that we shared, and at your tables, there are 2 sets of kind of business looking cards. One of them, which is in a horizontal writing, actually has a code, a QR code for the DEI Coalition framework. So if you want to get deeper into the documents that Paula also shared a little bit more about, scan that, take the card, scan the QR code, and then you could get deeper into how this framework is shaped. I think you mentioned it here at this table. It's not a one size fits all. So what doesn't work, toss it away. What applies, take it and use, even if you have an internal DEI group, you might be able to use some parts of it. So feel free to use that. And also another thing is, if you have feedback for us on the DEI Coalition framework, you have a contact information on the card. We would love to hear what you think could enhance the coalition. We are on this journey of learning, so that would be awesome to hear. There is another business card, which is a vertical shape, and that's a survey that the coalition members work together to try to create. We like to hear perspectives from all the people who are involved in the affordable housing area to kind of give us a little bit more feedback on things that we could do to improve the program or experience for the residents at the end. So if you could take that survey, hopefully it's short, but it's going to help the OR-MEP team. And again, this was an idea from the coalition members who wanted to learn more from everyone in this community to help us shape the program. So with that, is there anything else that we need to share before I let you go? Yeah, I'll pass it on to Paula.
So how many people here have an organization at scale that they're going to consider doing a DEI coalition? Any? See, just one or two. So my suggestion for how to use this framework in the remaining people from very diverse groups is this. Regardless of whether or not you think your organization will do a DEI coalition, I still think it's valuable to study that framework because of how well put together it is. And the takeaway I hope you get that I've learned is key to this is that by structuring your mission and objectives for your organization's goals, having a well thought out approach to it where you take the time and step back and have multiple, not just make decisions behind a screen, but have multiple discussions with key stakeholders in your organizations and your customers to determine whether or not your process is reaching them in the way you want. That is a valuable takeaway, even if you don't do a DEI coalition. For the one group that wants to, study that coalition, mimic it as closely as possible, determine where you can enhance it and adapt it to your organization. So with that, thank you for coming to the coalition. Have a great rest of your conference.